Giant news in the National Football League, in the sporting world altogether. Brett Favre traded from the Green Bay Packers to the New York Jets for a conditional fourth-round pick. We'll get into those conditions in a little bit with Adam Schefter, momentarily with Adam Schefter. But what you need to know, Brett Favre traded from the Packers to the New York Jets for a conditional fourth-round pick. Quickly, the Packers and the Jets brass already on board issuing statements, their feelings about Favre being traded to the Jets. First one, Woody Johnson, the Jets chairman and CEO. Quote, "I am looking forward to seeing Brett Favre in a New York Jets uniform. He represents a significant addition to this franchise, also reflects our commitment to putting the best possible product on the field." Mike Tannenbaum, who is the general manager, and his football administration staff did a great job of navigating this complex process. I'm excited about welcoming Brett, Deanna, and their family to the Jets organization. Green Bay Packers also on board with the statement. This is a joint statement from Ted Thompson, also Mark Murphy. Brett has had a long and storied career in Green Bay, and the Packers owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude for everything he accomplished on the field and for the impact he made in the state. It is with some sadness that we make this announcement, but also with the desire for certainty that will allow us to move the team and the organization forward in the most positive way possible. We respect Brett's decision that he could no longer remain here as a Packer. But there were certain things we were not willing to do because they were not in the best interest of this team. We were not going to release him nor trade him to a team within the division. When Brett ultimately decided that he still wanted to play football but not in Green Bay, we told him that we would work with him to find the best solution for all parties involved. We wish Brett and his family well. End quote. We now welcome in our Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter, fill us in on the details. Brett Favre to the Jets.
Well, Paul, obviously it's a historic day for the New York Jets, a momentous day for the Green Bay Packers. We have seen a day that will live in NFL history. We have seen the Jets complete a trade for Brett Favre at this particular point in time. The details of the trade, as spelled out to me a short time ago, are the Jets will receive a fourth-round pick, a conditional, or the Packers will receive a fourth-round pick from the Jets. If Favre takes 50% of the snaps, it will be a third-round pick. If Favre takes 70% of the snaps and the Jets make the playoffs, the pick becomes a second-round draft choice. And if the Jets reach the Super Bowl in 2008, and Favre takes 80% of the snaps, it becomes a first-round pick. So Green Bay clearly got the pick that they wanted, and I can tell you for a fact that they were offering way more than the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers were nowhere close to what the New York Jets were offering at this point in time. We do not know exactly what Tampa was offering, but it is probably more along the lines of what they once surrendered for Jake Plummer, which was a seventh-round pick, a conditional seventh-round pick that turned to a fourth-round pick. And obviously the Jets were very persuasive with Brett Favre, and they were able to get the deal done.
Little after 1 a.m. on the East Coast. So, Adam, it is Thursday, as you know, in New York. What does Thursday hold? What do we expect from Brett Favre on Thursday?
It's going to be a busy day for Brett Favre. The Jets' private plane is going to pick him up in the morning, take him back to New York. He's going to visit the Jets' new training facility in New Jersey, which is scheduled to open in early September. He's going to take a helicopter tour of Manhattan, of New York City, with Jets officials. From there, he's going to go on to Cleveland, where the Jets are scheduled to play on Thursday night against the Browns. And obviously, he will rejoin or join and meet his new teammates in Cleveland, which is going to be a very surreal scene for Brett Favre, as if it wasn't surreal enough to go into Green Bay and essentially leave there just a few days later. Now Brett Favre is going to be going on to meet and say hello to his new teammates in Cleveland, where the Jets are scheduled to play the Browns tomorrow night.
Story below the fold here, Adam. The future of Chad Pennington. What do you know?
Well, listen, the Jets have to clear out salary cap space, and they have $2 million worth of salary cap space right now. Brett Favre has a $12 million contract. It would be expected that Chad Pennington would be released once they do officially get Favre into the fold. That's something the Jets will have to accomplish. They have to clear up salary cap space, and obviously the quickest and surest way to do that is getting rid of a player at that position. Chad Pennington is scheduled to make $6 million this year. That's a big salary cap number, and when you have Brett Favre on the roster, it would seem to be that there's no room for Chad Pennington.
So there's nothing confirmed to that. It's just your feeling, with the knowledge of their salary cap, that Chad Pennington's days are numbered right now?
Paul, I think it's fair to say that Chad Pennington is expected to be released at this point in time.
Okay. I believe that's also fair to say. Brett Favre now had to be convinced in some way, because he was a part of this process, that New York was a good fit for him. What do you think brought him aboard to want to be a New York Jet?
Well, I think there were a few things. Clearly, he was not warm to the idea all along. But I think as time went on, there were a couple of factors that I think helped persuade him to come to New York to play for the New York Jets. Number one, I think that his wife, Deanna, and his agent, Buzz Cook, were pushing New York on him, and I think that they were able to persuade him and to tell him of the merits of playing in New York for the Jets. I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is that the Jets were very persuasive in their recruiting of Brett Favre, and when they had the chance to finally speak to him on Tuesday night, Eric Mangini made a tremendous pitch to him, a successful recruiting pitch to really get Brett Favre aboard, and there was no question at that point in time that they opened Brett's thinking to going to the New York Jets. I think between the combination of his wife and agent and the recruiting skills of the New York Jets coming forward, they were able to change Brett Favre's mind, alter his thinking, and get him to warm to the idea of playing in New York at that point in time. So there you have it. Again, it was a situation where when the deal first came down, there were people around the league who instantly called me and said, hey, until we hear from Favre that he has agreed to go to the Jets, we don't know that it's official. So even after it first came out, there were still questions as to whether Favre would sign off on the deal. But the indications are that he has. The Jets have announced it. But again, there are plans in place to bring Favre to New York. I will feel better officially once we hear from Brett Favre, yes, I'm coming to New York, and that's it. I think that's the lone remaining obstacle to this deal.